You have probably noticed something strange happening over the last few years. Your feed used to feel like a town square, messy but alive, but now it feels like walking through a minefield. You see people you used to admire tearing each other apart over a single misunderstood sentence. You watch a casual opinion turn into a public trial, and at some point, you made a quiet decision. You stopped posting, you stopped commenting, you went silent. Maybe you tell yourself you are just busy, or that you have nothing interesting to say, but if you are honest, the real reason is different. The internet stopped feeling safe. Society might call this lurking or disengagement, but I want to offer you a different frame. What you are experiencing is not apathy, it is strategic retreat, and it mirrors a concept from science fiction called the dark forest theory. Today we are going to explore why the internet has become hostile, why your brain is begging you to leave, and why your silence might actually be the healthiest decision you have ever made. The dark forest theory comes from a novel by Chinese author Liu Cixin, and it describes a universe where every civilization hides in silence, because the moment you reveal yourself, you become a target. The forest appears empty, but it is full of life hiding in the shadows, waiting and watching. The internet has become that forest. It is not that people have left, they are still here, but they have learned that visibility equals vulnerability. If you are a highly sensitive person, this shift hit you first and hit you hardest. While others were still posting their thoughts freely, you were already feeling the change in the air. Your nervous system, that 8K resolution radar, detected the threat long before it became obvious. You were the canary in the coal mine. Let me show you what changed. In the early days of social media, there was something psychologists call context richness. You mostly interacted with people you actually knew. Your posts reached maybe 200 friends, and the stakes were low. The feedback was slow. You could say something clumsy, and someone would gently correct you over coffee the next week. There was room for nuance. There was room for mistakes. But then the algorithm shifted. Platforms realized that anger drives engagement, so they began prioritizing conflict. What you see now is not a reflection of reality. It is a distorted mirror designed to show you the most emotionally charged content, because that is what keeps you scrolling. You are not imagining that everything feels more hostile. The system is chemically engineered to amplify outrage. Researchers identified this shift as algorithmic rage amplification. Every time you engage with something that makes you angry, the algorithm learns. It says, oh, this user responds to conflict, and it serves you more. Even if you are hate watching or rage commenting to push back, you are still feeding the system. And because your brain has a negativity bias, one cruel comment has 5 times the emotional weight of 5 kind ones. So you walk away from a thread feeling like the whole world is cruel, when in reality, it was just 3 loud people and an algorithm that made sure you saw them first. Here's where it gets personal. If you are highly sensitive, your mirror neurons are hyperactive, and when you see someone being attacked online, your brain does not just observe it, you feel it in your body. You experience a physiological stress response, as if you were the one being attacked. You are not being dramatic, you are literally absorbing the emotional violence of the feed. And because the algorithm feeds you an endless stream of conflict, your nervous system never gets a chance to return to baseline. You are living in a permanent state of low-level fight or flight. This is what psychologists call parasocial exhaustion. You are not even involved in the conflict, but your body is treating it like a personal threat. Now we need to talk about context collapse. In the real world, you speak differently to your boss than you do to your best friend. You code switch depending on the audience. But on social media, all your audiences exist in the same space: your colleagues, your family, that person you met once at a conference, and 1,000 strangers. When you post something, you cannot control who sees it or how they will interpret it. A joke that lands with your close friends might enrage someone with a completely different context. You are not bad at communication. You are trying to speak to 10 different rooms at once, and that is cognitively impossible. This collapse creates a trap. If you speak authentically, you risk being misunderstood, and if you speak carefully, you sound performative and fake. So you freeze, you write a post, delete it, rewrite it, and then just close the app. That hesitation you feel is not weakness. It is your brain recognizing an unsafe environment. And you are experiencing what I call the transparency paradox. The platforms demand vulnerability. They say, be authentic, share your truth. But the moment you do, you are exposed to an unpredictable crowd with no shared norms. Authenticity in a context, collapsed space, is not brave, it is reckless. Let me take you deeper into the biology of why this hurts so much. Your brain is wired for small tribe dynamics. For most of human history, you interacted with maybe 150 people, Dunbar's number. Your reputation mattered, but it was manageable. You could repair a misunderstanding face to face. But online, a single post can reach thousands or even millions, and if the mob turns on you, there is no repair mechanism. There is just volume. Your nervous system is not built for this scale of social threat. When you get ratioed or dogpiled, your amygdala interprets it as a life or death reputational attack. Even though logically you know it is just pixels on a screen, your body is flooded with cortisol, as if you were being exiled from the tribe. And here is the cruelest part: because you are sensitive, you care deeply about being fair and kind. So when someone calls you out, even if it is bad faith, you take it seriously, you spiral. You reread your words 100 times trying to figure out what you did wrong. Meanwhile, the person who attacked you has already moved on. They were not trying to educate you. They were farming engagement. But you carried that shame for weeks. This is why so many sensitive people are going silent. You are not weak. You are just refusing to play a game that is rigged against your nervous system. So what do? I am not going to tell you to delete all your accounts and live in a cabin. For many of us, these platforms are tied to work, community, and connection. The goal is not total retreat. It is strategic sanctuary design. Think of it as building a greenhouse in the dark forest. First, we need to reclaim your permission to lurk. Society treats lurking like it is passive or antisocial, but for a highly sensitive person, lurking is active self-care. You are still learning, still connecting, still participating. You are just doing it without making yourself a target. Rename it in your mind. You are not lurking. You are observing. You are a witness, not a performer. Second, we need to adopt what I call strategic ghosting. This is not about disappearing forever. It is about being intentional with your visibility. You do not owe the internet a running commentary on your life. Post when you have something worth the risk. Stay silent when you do not. The gap between posts is not a failure. It is a boundary. Let the algorithm wonder where you went. your mental health is worth more than your engagement rate. Third, practice digital sanctuary design. Unfollow accounts that make your chest tight, even if they are quote-unquote important. Mute words that trigger your nervous system. Turn off notifications so the platform cannot pull you back in with manufactured urgency. Curate your feed like you would curate your living room. If you would not invite that energy into your home, do not let it live in your pocket. And finally, if you must post, use the delay buffer. Write your thought in a notes app first. Let it sit for an hour or even a day. Then reread it with fresh eyes and ask yourself, is this worth the potential cost? And if the answer is no, let it stay in your drafts. That is not self-censorship, that is self-protection. You are not weak for going silent. You are adapting to an environment that has become genuinely hostile. The dark forest is real, and your sensitivity is not a flaw. It is the early warning system that detected the danger while everyone else was still dancing in the clearing. Take care. I will see you in the next one.